what I would do if I started Amazon selling again in 2023. So I did a recent video on TikTok that's got over 40,000 views now. Go check it out if you haven't already on my TikTok. It's pinned to the top left hand corner. And I mentioned this. I want to go into more detail here. So the issue that I see most people doing when they're starting Amazon or they're a few months into Amazon is that they're being wishy-washy. So what I mean by that is that they start with retail arbitrage, for example, and then they see their friend doing well on online arbitrage, or they see people in Facebook do it, so they start online arbitrage, and then they see someone else saying that online arbitrage is for losers, you should be doing wholesale, that's a real business on Amazon. Then they go and start doing wholesale, realise they can't open many accounts, realise the margins are smaller because they haven't got a limited company, they can't open the accounts fast, realise that you need to, it's a volume game, and then still trying to do that, still trying to do a bit of OA, still trying to do a bit of RA, getting distracted by private label, getting distracted by bundles. Do you know what I mean? All over the place. Oh, maybe I should start selling in the USA online arbitrage as well. And then all of a sudden, they're doing absolutely nothing, getting no results because they're literally all over the place. This is the issue. When people are starting out, they're wishy-washy, they're all over the place. Here's what you should do. Here's what I should have done when I started. And actually I did a pretty good job of focusing on one thing and then another thing, but obviously I did get distracted in that little phase to start with. I think we all do, it's normal. But if you can overcome this, if you can push forward, then you'll have a lot more success initially than I did. And your growth, your trajectory of growth, your output from your input will be a lot more than mine. So here's what you should do. You should do your research on a model, post on Facebook groups, post on Discord groups. I've got 2 free ones, don't charge for any of them. Get in the Discord or the Facebook group, ask people in there pros and cons of different models, etc. Do your research on YouTube, go back, look at my YouTube videos, look at pros and cons, and then actually figure out the business model for you. Now, you've got to remember this is a reflection on the time that you can put into the business, aka if you're doing retail arbitrage, you've got to be available to go around them shops and do that yourself. If you can't do that, then you can't do retail arbitrage. Online arbitrage, bit different, but you've got to be available. You've got to be willing to outsource it to VAs or source the deals yourself. Private label, you've probably got to be a bit more creative, etc. Same with bundles and stuff. You've got to be creative to think about that. If you're not creative, I wouldn't think about that right now because you're going to need someone else to be creative. I would do wholesale or online arbitrage, although I wouldn't recommend wholesale to start with. So your bet is probably online arbitrage. So whatever you're doing, first, step number 1, think about the business model. Think about the business model that you should be doing. Okay, this is really, really important. The right business model for you. And then once you've got that, don't look at anything else. This is what people do wrong. They get into it and then they start it, as I said, and then they start doing something else, and they start doing something else, they start doing something else. Why are you doing something else if you haven't filled all the holes in your bucket, right? Now, I know there's areas in my business that I haven't filled all the buckets and I'm doing other things. But my general plan is I'm filling all the holes in all of these buckets because everything that I do is related to Amazon. Everything that I do is related to this industry, so I know where I'm going. But the problem most people do when they're starting out is that they still haven't filled all the holes in their bucket. They still haven't got online arbitrage. They still haven't maximized online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, whatever model you're doing. They haven't squeezed the knowledge out of that, the money out of that, the resources. They haven't outsourced it to a team. They haven't got the right systems, etc. in place, and they're already moving on to another model and then another model. That's where people were going wrong. Stick to it, squeeze it for everything it's got, get the knowledge from it, get that knowledge from it, okay? Understand it, make loads of money from it, right? Or as much as you can. Once you've squeezed it to the absolute maximum, that particular business model, then you then make a solid plan to get to the next stage. So let me give you an example, a real life example of this. Let's say, for example, when I started out, my goal was to do 100K, £100,000 of online arbitrage in sales, or earn a full-time living from online arbitrage. And when, and only when, I got, or you get to that stage, that is when you start sitting down, saying, right, reassess it. I've got to this goal. However, I know I can do better. I know that I can get this to the next level. I know that I want to be more successful in business, have my own brand, have my own PL stuff, whatever. That's when you make a solid plan, not to get rid of what you've got if it's working for you, because then you could be back at square one, right? And then you have to build something up again. If you've got that, keep maintaining that, make a solid plan for the next phase, and then jump into the next phase and go all in on that. What you don't want to do is start making successful online arbitrage, start making successful retail arbitrage, whatever you're doing, and then just getting wishy-washy, and then losing confidence or doubting yourself, or letting others put you...
What's going on? Quick introduction here just to introduce my new sponsor. So I'm now sponsored by Prepared For You. I've been using this prep center for a fair few months now and they've been fantastic, okay? If you are interested in trying them out, I've got a link below. Click on the link below, the Prepared For You link, and you can get £50 off your first month with them. Type in Hayden into the coupon code when you're signing up to your desired package and you can get £50 off. As I say, really recommend them. I've enjoyed their service and yeah, very efficient, very communicational, and I will see you in the next video. Let's start in.
Off trying different models. Have your solid plan, stick to your solid plan, get it to that stage, and then make another solid plan for another plan. Get to the other stage of the next plan, get to the next stage, get to the next stage. Okay, so for example, with me, I started with online arbitrage. I got that to a good level. Yes, I got a bit distracted, but essentially I got it to the level that it should have been, right? And then I realized I wanted to get to PL type stuff, so I quit all of that. I saved up enough money to do this, by the way, and I knew I was going to be able to do it, so I quit it all overnight, and then I leaped myself to the next level with my brand stuff, and then the next level is to leap ourselves to a next level with the brand stuff, and eventually build another proper private label brand up here. So I'm leaping, but what I'm not doing is jumping to, you know, building my brand and then thinking, oh, actually, I want to try retail arbitrage. And then now I'm doing half retail arbitrage and half PL. Forget it. Have that solid focus, make solid plans, jump to the next level. I wouldn't recommend doing what I do, by the way, quitting and going all into the next thing. I mean, you can, but I took a big risk because I didn't have any outgoings at the time that were significant enough to worry about that. But if you have, then you need to make sure you're maintaining that income, then trying to jump to the next level. Anyway, I hope that video's helped. That's what I would do if I was starting again in 2023. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share the video if possible. I would really, really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next group in the next video.